The psychology of control, why we struggle to let go and how it shapes our lives. Have you ever caught yourself micromanaging something, or someone, just to feel secure? Or maybe you've clung tightly to a routine, plan, or belief because the idea of letting go was too uncomfortable to bear. If so, you're not alone. The need for control is one of the most deeply rooted aspects of human psychology. It's tied to our sense of safety, identity, and stability. But when left unchecked, it can quietly sabotage our relationships, hinder growth, and make life far more difficult than it needs to be. In this article, we dive deep into the psychology of control, exploring why we cling to it, how it affects our decisions, and what we can do to finally let go and grow. Why the need for control is rooted in fear and uncertainty. The urge to control isn't random, it's primal. At its core, control is the brain's strategy to protect us from the unknown. When faced with uncertainty, our minds instinctively look for ways to predict and manage outcomes. This is an evolutionary survival mechanism. In the wild, those who could anticipate threats lived longer. Today, however, our threats are no longer wild animals, but the unpredictability of life, emotions, relationships, and even our own internal chaos. Fear of failure, abandonment, or even success can drive people to over-control their environments. For many, control is an attempt to shield themselves from emotional pain. Ironically, though, this tight grip often leads to more suffering, not less. How control issues affect relationships, work, and personal happiness. Control is a double-edged sword. While it can provide short-term relief or structure, in the long run, it often strains the very areas we care most about. In relationships, controlling behavior can show up as jealousy, overprotectiveness, or constant fixing. While it may seem like care or love, it's often a fear of vulnerability or abandonment. The more one partner controls, the more the other may withdraw, leading to a destructive cycle. At work, the need to control can lead to micromanagement, burnout, and poor delegation. While it might ensure quality in the short term, it prevents growth, innovation, and trust within teams. Control-driven leaders often fail to inspire and empower those around them. On a personal level, control can stifle spontaneity and joy. A tightly planned life leaves no room for magic. The more we try to manage every outcome, the more rigid and anxious we become. Happiness becomes conditional on everything going exactly as planned, something that rarely happens. The neuroscience behind control-seeking behavior. Neuroscientifically speaking, the brain thrives on predictability. The prefrontal cortex, responsible for planning and decision-making, is activated when we anticipate or try to control outcomes. But this same region is also highly sensitive to uncertainty. When unpredictability arises, the amygdala, our fear center, kicks in, increasing anxiety. In people with high control needs, the brain overestimates threats and underestimates resilience. This imbalance makes it hard to tolerate even minor unpredictability. For them, letting go isn't just a mental challenge, it's a neurological discomfort. Studies also show that a perceived lack of control can activate pain centers in the brain. This means that for some, losing control feels emotionally and even physically painful. But with practice, the brain can learn to become more comfortable with uncertainty and trust. When control becomes a form of emotional self-protection. Often, what looks like controlling behavior is really a form of emotional armor. People who've experienced trauma, abandonment, or chaos early in life often develop control as a defense mechanism. If your childhood was unpredictable, trying to control everything in adulthood may feel like the only way to stay safe. This form of control is rarely conscious. It manifests in subtle ways, always planning ahead, avoiding risks, being overly critical of others, or struggling to ask for help. It's a protective instinct, not a flaw. But recognizing this can be the first step toward healing. Understanding that control is often rooted in past pain, not current reality, can help us respond with compassion rather than judgment. How learning to surrender can lead to freedom and peace. Surrender is not weakness. In fact, it requires great strength to release the illusion of control and accept life as it comes. But when we learn to loosen our grip, we open the door to possibilities we couldn't plan for, even joy. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means accepting what is out of your hands while focusing on what you can influence, your attitude, effort, and presence. This shift creates mental clarity, emotional balance, and peace. Many of the happiest people aren't those who control everything, they're those who trust themselves to handle whatever comes. That kind of inner trust only grows when you stop overmanaging your world and start living in it. Steps to release unhealthy control and build resilience. Letting go of control is a process, not an event. Here are some practical ways to start. 1. Identify the triggers. Notice what situations trigger your need to control. Is it change, uncertainty, or specific relationships? Awareness is the first step to change. 2. Practice letting go in small ways. Try releasing control in low-stakes situations. Let someone else plan the outing. Don't check your email for an hour. These micro-surrenders build your tolerance for uncertainty. 3. Reframe your thinking. Instead of asking, "How can I control this?" ask, "How can I adapt to this?" Or, "What's the worst that could realistically happen?" Shifting your mindset reduces fear. 4. Develop self-trust. Confidence in your ability to handle life reduces the need to control it. Keep promises to yourself. Reflect on past challenges you've survived. You are more resilient than you think. 5. Embrace mindfulness. Mindfulness teaches us to accept the present moment without judgment. This acceptance is the opposite of control, and it's a powerful form of peace. 6. Seek support if needed. Sometimes, control issues are deeply tied to trauma or anxiety. Therapy can help uncover root causes and offer new coping strategies. From control to courage. The psychology of control teaches us one profound truth. The more we try to control life, the more we disconnect from it. Yes, control feels safe, but it also keeps us stuck. True freedom, joy, and growth come not from managing every detail, but from learning to trust the flow of life. When we shift from control to curiosity, from fear to faith, we discover that life doesn't need to be perfect to be beautiful. In fact, it's often the unpredictable moments, the ones we didn't plan, that end up shaping us the most. So, the next time you're tempted to tighten your grip, try this instead. Take a deep breath, let go just a little, and trust yourself to handle whatever comes next. You might just find that what you're holding onto is the very thing holding you back.